welcome back. Question number 27. How can I tell if a home has been flooded before? One of the things that I do before I even take a client to tour a home is I'm going to search to see if the home is in a flood zone where a neighborhood that I also know just happens to flood certain holding ponds or retention ponds, as some people call them. Some of them have had a history where the neighborhood just, we get a bad enough storm, we get too much rain, they flood, and then everyone in the neighborhood ends up taking on a few inches of water. So I do warn the clients ahead of time, like, hey, this is just something that has happened in this neighborhood, in that particular area, and just want you to be aware of it. It's not the end of the world if a home has flooded or if the home is in a flood zone. It just means you're going to need flood insurance. Happy to get quotes for anybody that I'm working with as well, because it is helpful to know how much your costs are going to be associated with that. But when we go into the home, then you can also, sometimes you can smell it. It smells a little moldy, kind of a mildew thing. If it's been taken down to the studs, the drywall's been all taken out, usually the remediation, people do it properly. But if you can see a line on any type of drywall, like a little water line essentially, sometimes the flooring has bubbles in it and things, and you can kind of see where it also waves too. There are ways when you look in like the yard, if you can see puddles. We've been getting a lot of rain lately as this is summer. You can kind of see where if it goes to the door or goes, to the backyard in certain areas. So it is something to be mindful of, paying attention, especially even where gutters fall out of. Sometimes the water's pouring right down into an area and the wood is just getting wet on the exterior all the time. So little things like that kind of stick out whenever we're at the property. Or even if you see, it's not really a flood, but it would be like a leak in a ceiling from a roof. You can see like water staining on ceilings. A lot of times they've been fixed and then no one has repaired the cosmetic part of, painting the ceiling or anything like that. But it's just a question that we ask the other side to see what happened, what's the story, and then we can go from there. But just be mindful that it's not truly the end of the world if a home is in a flood zone or has had flooding before. We are in a hurricane prone area, but the remediation, just pretty much starts quickly as soon as everything gets done. I've had plenty of clients who have had that happen, had remediation done, and you kind of get a remodel out of it, so to speak. So it's not terrible, but I also want you to know up front, this is what you're up against. So I'm always going to be transparent and let you know ahead of time, like, hey, this is where we're at. This home has had XYZ happen. This home is in a flood zone. So that way you can decide if that's going to be a good home for you or your family.